Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
When police officers from Oviedo, Florida, arrived at a murder scene in September 2007, this is what they saw. The front door of the duplex on Shady Oak Lane was open, and they could see the body of 22-year-old Michael Ruschak lying face up on the porch. His knees were on the front doorway, and his lower legs rested inside the entrance. Blood ran out of his mouth and nose onto the ground. They saw blood on his chest and arms, too. Michael had been shot 4 times. Inside the home was another victim, 19-year-old Tiffany Barwick. She, too, was dead, bleeding from the face as her body was face up on the bathroom floor. She had been shot 6 times. Evidence left behind depicted the violence and chaos before their deaths. A 4-door black Dodge Ram pickup truck, later confirmed to be the killer's vehicle, was parked on the street. The truck's front bumper and grille were damaged. The windshield was broken. Nearby in a driveway was a semi-automatic .45 caliber handgun with 1 bullet in the chamber and 1 magazine with 11 bullets. Tire tracks were in the front of the yard. The tracks led up to a Chevrolet Cavalier, later confirmed to be Tiffany's, that was parked in the front yard. Just like the truck, Tiffany's vehicle was damaged too. The Cavalier's bumper had fallen off and lay on the ground, and the back end was smashed. Blood appeared to stain the sidewalk outside of the duplex. Officers saw a bloody blue cell phone and a bloody towel on the sidewalk. A .45 cartridge case was in the dirt. Walking around the duplex, they noticed the sliding glass door on the back porch was broken. A .45 cartridge case was on the ground. Inside the house, officers could see where bullets had gone through the walls, the kitchen cabinets, and the bathroom door. Blood was all throughout. It was on the floor of the entryway and the hallway, in the kitchen, and on the bedroom floor, too. In the bedroom, an instant message was frozen on a computer screen, hinting at the violence to come. Officers read the conversation between Huma 54 and Desert Bloom 717. Huma 54 wrote, "And I'll just pretend I'm not there until I hear from you, in case you're busy." Desert Bloom 717 responded, "Okay, wait, is he coming over to your place?" Huma 54 wrote, "I don't think so. He was telling Tiffany he was or something. But we can just lock the door and look out the peephole. If he's here, we'll just call the cops. And then his death threat for me would mean something, since he's on my property and has actual intent, pretty much. He already said the next time he sees me, he's killing me, with his gun he carries now." Desert Bloom 717 then responded, "OMG." Then, about 2.5 hours later, Desert Bloom 717 wrote, "Are you there?" ? And then signed off. This is Jillian, and in partnership with Law and Crime, you are listening to Court Junkie, episode 179. "19-year-old Tiffany Barwick and 22-year-old Michael Ruschak were both killed that night, on September 24, 2007. But there were witnesses inside the duplex who survived. That night, a group of 6 friends had gathered there at Michael and his roommate Eric's house to eat ribs and watch a movie. Aside from Tiffany and Michael, the others included Catherine and Eric, whose father owned the duplex that he shared with Michael. Their night in was abruptly interrupted when Tiffany announced that her ex-boyfriend, Andrew, was coming over. Should they call the police? Tiffany asked. Michael's idea was to call Andrew's mom to confirm if he actually left, since Andrew still lived at home with his parents. They were in the living room when they heard the first loud bang. Michael went to the front door, which was locked, and reported back that Andrew was outside. The friends panicked. Tiffany called the police. Outside, Andrew kept pounding on the front door. Then it went quiet. "Is the back door locked?" someone asked. Someone, it's not clear who, went and checked. A short time later, Catherine heard more banging, this time coming from the rear sliding back door on the porch. Then the sound of glass shattering. Catherine ran into Eric's room and hid under his computer. She heard gunshots and Eric trying to stop Andrew, she later told police. She heard someone yell to get off them, the Oviedo Police investigative report said, and more gunshots. Catherine got up and ran inside Eric's bathroom and locked the door. While in the bathroom, she heard more shots, Tiffany screaming, and then everything went quiet. Catherine thought everyone was dead, so she stayed in the room until she heard Eric's voice, saying Andrew had left. Andrew had left carnage behind in his wake. The body of Michael Ruschak lay in the front door. And Tiffany had been shot while she hid in the bathroom on the phone with 911. One of the other men at the duplex also called 911.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, this is the police. What's going on, sir?
Shots were fired at my friend's house,
Okay.
and I ran out. There's cops there now.
Where does your friend live?
Fuck, I don't know the name of the street.
Were you in the house?
Yeah, I was sitting on the
Okay,
counter
who
watching
did
TV.
this? Do you know?
Andrew Allred.
The caller identified Andrew Allred as the shooter.
And he's the one that had the gun.
Yeah, he was banging on the front door. We locked the front door. He came around to the back sliding glass door, broke through, walked through the house with a gun, and then started firing in the kitchen.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I don't know if anyone actually got hit, but I just ran away. He walked right past me on the couch with the gun in his hand.
Okay. Okay, honey.
I just ran out of the hole that he broke through the sliding glass door.
Where are you now, physically?
I can see him. I'm just right up the road from where they are.
You're outside.
Yeah, I
have an address.
Okay.
And you're sure it was him?
I am positive it was him. I've
Okay.
known the kid since 9th grade high school.
The caller explained that Andrew had been making threats against Tiffany and Michael, and that they had tried in vain to press charges against Andrew for 3 weeks.
He lives with his parents, and it's
Why? Who were they shooting at?
either a girl named Tiffany Barwick, who they just broke up,
Okay.
and he turned psycho, or my best friend Michael Ruschak. And I didn't see what happened, and I don't know if he's okay or not. This kid's been off and on telling people that he was going to, he's been giving out death threats and shit, and they were just up at the police station today, and they wouldn't give him a restraining order.
Okay.
The dispatcher asked about motive, and the frustration in the caller's voice was palpable as he explained how they had been trying to get help for weeks now.
Do you think you might have been going after his ex-girlfriend?
I know that he said that he was going to Ruschak, if you ever saw him again, Michael Ruschak.
Is that her new boyfriend?
No, it's my best friend.
Okay.
And they're not even dating, but when the breakup happened, her whole family and support system's in Ocala.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and Mike are really the only friends that she has in Orlando.
Okay.
And so we were helping her out after the breakup because she knows nobody.
Okay.
And she's going to a new school, UCF.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, like, Allred just flipped out. And I know that he said that if he ever saw Ruschak again, he was going to shoot him. And he's blurted out about shooting Tiffany before.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just been really psychotic. And we've been trying to press charges for like 3 weeks now. And you know, everyone's been telling us that we don't have enough to do anything about it. Now he breaks into where these kids live and starts shooting, you know?
Right.
I mean, I'm not blaming anybody, but it's just crazy. Like, I don't know.
Eric, Michael's roommate, had been shot too, although his injuries were less severe. In fact, he didn't realize he had been shot in the leg until he escaped from the house. Eric's actions that night were heroic as he tried to save his friends. When Andrew came up the hallway, holding the gun in his hand, quote, Eric tried to talk to him, but he quickly turned the corner into the kitchen and shot Michael. Eric grabbed Andrew from behind and pulled him back towards the living room, while Andrew repeatedly told Eric to let him go. Eric kept asking him what he thought he was doing, and Andrew pointed the gun down and shot Eric in the leg. Andrew got free and ran back to the front of the house, while Eric ran to the back door. Eric ran to the neighbor's house to call 911, and while at the neighbor's, he heard Andrew get in his truck and leave the scene. After he left, Andrew called Tiffany's mother. In the voicemail he left, he said, "Tiffany's been shot. I'm about to kill myself. Bye." The phone belonging to Tiffany's mother kept ringing. People who witnessed the shootings called and repeated the tragic news back to her. She knew then it wasn't a joke. Oviedo police told Tiffany's mother they had 2 unidentified shooting victims. Tiffany had 3 or 4 words tattooed on her right foot. Sure enough, it was her. As soon as Oviedo police hung up the phone with Tiffany's mother, Michael Ruschak's father called. Police informed him of his son's death. The obituaries for Tiffany and Michael described 2 young people pursuing their education while working part-time jobs on the side. 2 young people busy, full of ambition, invested in hobbies, and above all, with families who clearly loved them. 22-year-old Michael was enrolled at the University of Central Florida. He was majoring in business administration and minoring in management information systems, while he also worked at the student union on campus. For fun, Michael liked computer gaming, weightlifting, and officiating soccer. Tiffany, who was only 19, wanted to help people for her career. The UCF student was studying to become a nurse and already was getting her foot in the door in the healthcare field. She worked part-time as a phlebotomist. Tiffany also liked soccer and dramatic acting. She was very involved in her church and youth group, too. Her family wrote in her obituary that God would be very proud of her. It was Andrew Allred's 21st birthday party, and he thought it was going to be the best night of his life. Instead, in front of all of his friends, his girlfriend Tiffany dumped him. Tiffany almost immediately began moving out of Andrew's parents' house, where the young couple had been living together. Andrew didn't take it well. The breakup was public and humiliating. He became obsessed. Having built his first computer from the ground up at the age of 13, Andrew was really good at computers, and he began cyber-stalking Tiffany. He hacked into her social media platforms. "I'm a whore," read the title on Tiffany's MySpace account. He moved her money around as a stunt to confuse her, transferring money from her checking account to her credit card, so she would think all of her funds were gone when it was time to pay her rent. Andrew bragged about it to a friend. He emailed everyone in her address book. Tiffany had to send a follow-up email explaining the message had come from her ex and not her. And things only got worse. Andrew began suspecting that Tiffany was in a relationship with Michael Ruschak, one of Andrew's good friends from high school, even though another friend denied that was true. Andrew sent Tiffany a photograph of herself that was riddled with bullet holes, as if Andrew had used the photograph for target practice. And he wouldn't stop texting her. On the day of the shootings, Andrew left his job at lunchtime and went to get drunk at a chain restaurant. Afterwards, according to one of his friends, he returned back to work and was confronted by his boss for being rude to a customer. Andrew went home. "Jobless now," he texted his friend. Andrew's ex-boss provided his version of events to police. He said Andrew was rude to a customer at the computer software company where he worked. He confronted Andrew about it, but Andrew wouldn't say anything other than yep and nope. "Take this afternoon off," Andrew's boss said. "Nope," Andrew replied. Then Andrew sent a mass email to the company that said, "I'm out," and walked off the job. Andrew and his other friend, Mike, went out to dinner that night. Over a beer or two, they talked about Andrew maybe joining the military. Anything to get over Tiffany. It wasn't a late night out. They didn't drink heavily. By 8 p.m., they were back at Mike's apartment, and Andrew left. 2.5 hours later, Mike got a call from his friend. "Call the cops," Andrew said. "I shot Tiffany and Ruschak." Then, 2 minutes later, Andrew called back, but it went straight to voicemail. Mike was seemingly on the phone with 911. "Should I turn myself in or should I just kill myself?" Andrew asked on the voicemail recording. According to another friend named Melanie, on Mondays, Melanie and her boyfriend usually met up with Andrew to watch TV. At 10:36 p.m. that Monday night, Melanie called Andrew to ask if they were going to hang out. "There's not going to be any hanging out tonight. I've been a very bad guy," Andrew told her. "I just shot Ruschak and Tiffany, and now I'm going to kill myself." Melanie hung up. She told her boyfriend to call 911.
Okay, why don't you tell me what's going on tonight?
I want to know what happened first.
I'm sorry?
I
can't hear you.
What happened to them?
What happened to who?
The people that got shot. What happened to them?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out. Okay, that's the investigation that I'm doing. So, do you know who got shot?
Yes, I do, but I'd like to know what happened to them.
Okay, and when we're done talking here, I can find out for you. Okay, I came here to talk to you first.
Okay.
So, can you tell me who got shot?
Tiffany Barwick, Michael Ruschak, and I think that's it.
Tiffany Barwick and Michael Ruschak?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know who shot them?
Me.
The Oviedo police had eyewitnesses, plenty of physical evidence, and a motive. They also had a taped confession from Andrew Allred. After taking him into custody, detectives read Andrew his Miranda rights and then asked him what happened that night.
Okay, you shot both of them?
Yep.
Who is Tiffany Barwick?
Ex-girlfriend.
How do you know? She's an ex-girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And who's Michael Ruschak?
An ex-best friend.
An ex-best friend, okay. Can you tell me what happened tonight?
They got shot.
Okay. And you shot them?
Yep.
Okay, can you tell me why you shot them?
Because I did.
He told them about his breakup with Tiffany and how Michael had taken Tiffany's side. He said he went to the duplex to ram Tiffany's car, which he did repeatedly.
Okay, so you rammed the white Cavalier with the black truck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what happened?
Then I went in and shot him.
Did you go there specifically to shoot them?
No,
What did you go there for?
to ram her car.
Okay, and then what happened after you rammed her car?
I shot them.
Okay, can you tell me why you rammed the car and then you decided to shoot them?
No, I just did.
The detective asked if he and Tiffany had talked in the month and a half since they had broken up. He said yes. Did something happen tonight that's different? She asked. Not really, he replied.
Had you talked to Michael at all?
Nope.
Okay, so you just went out to dinner, went and bought beer, went back to the house, and then left. Decided to go ram her car. Came in through the back door and shot them both. And you don't know why you did that. And you asked me when we came in what happened to them? What do you think happened to them?
I don't know.
She asked if he had called 911 as he was leaving, and he said yes, that he told them that people had been shot and that he was going to kill himself.
Did you feel like you were going to kill yourself then when you said that?
Probably should have,
How come?
because I'm probably going to be in jail for a long time.
Can we talk more about Tiffany and Michael? She asked. Nope, Andrew replied. Not until you tell me what happened to them.
When was the last time you spoke to Michael?
Actually spoke to him probably on my birthday when she broke up with me.
On your birthday. Your birthday was August 25th. And she broke up with you on your birthday? That's tough. How did she break up with you? Was it over the phone or in person?
She was there. I was at a party.
Was the party at your house? Was Michael at the party?
There was like 50 people there.
And how long? You guys dated for how long?
A year.
A year? Okay, and then what happened at the party? What did she tell you?
And she wanted her stuff back. You guys were probably there. The cops came and told me to stop throwing her stuff into the street.
So she got pretty mad and started throwing her stuff out?
Well, after you had 20 beers and she wants her stuff back, she got it back.
She asked him about a picture he had sent to Tiffany, the picture of her that was riddled with bullet holes. He said he had used it as target practice the day he got his gun.
So tell me about that. You used her picture as a target
Sure.
and shot the picture? And then what'd you do?
Probably emailed it to her.
I'm not real good with computers. You kind of help me out here. So you took a picture, and then you shot at the picture, and then what'd
I
you do?
had a
Scan?
picture, I printed it out, and I shot at it.
It was a picture of her, or her and her friends, or what was it a picture of?
Her and her friends.
And when you sent the picture, did you put any text in there, any words? Just the blank picture? With bullet holes?
Guess, I don't know.
You don't remember?
No, you obviously know more about it than I do.
I know she got a picture. I don't know anything.
Yes, it had bullet holes. No, I don't remember whether it said anything. I don't think it did.
But you don't remember what you
That
sent
doesn't
it.
mean it didn't. It was the day I got the gun or the day after.
Which was your 21st birthday.
I got it, I think it was I think I ordered it the next day or something, but I couldn't pick it up.
She asked if he wanted to get back together with Tiffany, and he said no. When asked if he had been thinking about shooting her for a while, he said no. She pointed out that he had purchased the gun after Tiffany broke up with him and asked him why. He said, "'Cause I can. I turned 21.
One other thing we talked about was apparently you had made a phone call to the sheriff's office after this and said that they were shot, and you shot them, and you thought about killing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had those thoughts before?
Sure.
how often or recently or?
No, very often.
You know, because of your relationship ending with Tiffany or before that?
Sure.
Sure. You need to kind of understand
Everything.
what sure means.
Everything.
Everything? What do you mean everything?
Let's see, I don't have a job, don't have a girlfriend, and don't have any more friends. There you go.
Andrew was charged with 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder, armed burglary, aggravated battery, and criminal mischief. Andrew Allred wouldn't face a jury. He waived his right to a trial. He didn't take a plea deal either. Against the advice of his public defender, Timothy Caudle, Andrew pleaded guilty to all of the charges against him, including the 2 counts of murder, during what was supposed to be a routine pre-trial court hearing in April 2008. According to the Orlando Sentinel, Assistant State Attorney Stuart Stone told reporters afterwards that it's not your everyday plea. That meant the only question left wasn't whether Andrew committed the crimes, but did he deserve the death penalty, or should he spend the rest of his life in prison, since in Florida, he would not be eligible for parole. The Orlando Sentinel reported that Andrew refused to attend the penalty phase of the court proceedings. While the proceedings went on, he stayed in a back room at the Seminole County Courthouse. The parents of Tiffany and Michael had been hoping for a life sentence. Michael's father told the Sentinel that he thought a life sentence would have been harder on Andrew, so that's what he wanted Andrew to get. Seminole County Circuit Judge O.H. Eaton Jr. ruled differently. He sentenced Andrew to death for the murders and to life in prison for the other charges of armed burglary of a dwelling and aggravated battery with a firearm. But that wasn't the end of the story. Andrew would soon begin fighting in earnest for his release. Andrew's defense fought for years to get post-conviction relief. Those hearings played out almost like a trial. Witnesses were called, evidence was presented, and both the state and Andrew's defense team presented closing arguments. The 3-day court proceedings took place in August 2013. They gave new insight on the record into Andrew's mental health, his upbringing, and whether his original defense was proper. Dr. Glenn Ross Caddy, a forensic psychologist, talked with Andrew for about 13 hours to try and understand not only the crime, but Andrew's life and circumstances. He also interviewed Andrew's parents and looked at records. Andrew's childhood started out happy in the beginning. He had only been in trouble twice growing up, once for hitting a kid with a book in 7th grade, and then again for throwing something out the bus window in 8th grade. Petty things. He had no history of fighting or violence. But as Andrew got older, according to testimony, he became quiet, distrusting, out of place. He might have been seen by some to be a bit of a weird duck because he didn't have a whole lot of social relationships, Dr. Caddy testified. He had some friends, but not many. At school, teachers appeared to question Andrew's ability, and he underwent intellectual testing. He was suspected of having ADHD. He also had a tic disorder that he eventually grew out of, according to expert testimony. But Andrew also built a computer at age 13. He was into computers and hooked up to a local area network, joining a land group. He painted his whole room black so no reflection would show up on his computer screen. He's interesting in a slightly strange way, Dr. Caddy said. Andrew did badly in school, even though he was clearly intelligent. He was an underachiever. Perhaps that might be explained by what was going on at home. His world was full of instability and turmoil, according to testimony. Andrew's father was an alcoholic. Once, Andrew's father assaulted his mother. Andrew, who was around age 12 at the time, called the police. He did it because he was scared for his mom, Dr. Caddy testified. His dad was becoming violent, and he couldn't do anything. Andrew grew up with 2 brothers whom he was close to. One of his siblings suffered a serious injury and was then prescribed opioid drugs and became addicted. By the time Andrew was incarcerated for the murders, his brother had died in 2010 from a combination of prescription drugs and alcohol. Dr. Caddy was asked if Andrew's background in school and his family problems made the shootings predictable. Absolutely not, Dr. Caddy testified. There was nothing in his background that would have been reasonably predictive of the violence. He loved animals. He wasn't a violent person. He was somewhat reserved, not aggressive. Andrew wasn't a sociopath. He didn't seem to have an antisocial personality disorder, according to Dr. Caddy. He recalled a story when Andrew was fired from a job at AT&T. Andrew had felt the company was ripping off senior citizens, and so he told that to his boss. Dr. Gary Roy Gefkin, a clinical psychologist from the University of Florida Medical Center, testified he believed Andrew might be autistic. Autism is a disorder with a wide spectrum of how it affects people, from people's senses to their social interactions with others and their ability to communicate verbally or nonverbally. Andrew struggled to talk about jealousy and said he doesn't give people compliments. His emotional development seemed delayed, which made Dr. Gefkin suspect he might have high-functioning autism. But having autism doesn't make someone commit a murder and isn't an excuse for violence, Dr. Gefkin also acknowledged in his testimony. Andrew's defense also tried to show that he didn't get a proper defense prior to his plea. One question the post-conviction hearings tackled was Andrew's counsel ineffective, which is why he was sentenced to death? Timothy Caudill, Andrew's prior public defender, investigated Andrew's background when he represented him in 2008. He believed Andrew had been sexually abused by a family member when he was young. No charges were ever filed against the relative. Andrew got angry and didn't want to talk about it when Caudill brought it up as he was preparing Andrew's defense. There were plenty of other challenges, too, in representing Andrew. His mother was hesitant to testify publicly about his upbringing, since she was still married to Andrew's father. Andrew was also not cooperative. There were times when he wouldn't talk to us at all, and other times when he would come out of his room but be unwilling to offer any useful information, Caudill testified. Andrew wanted to get his case over quickly. He waived his right to a jury trial. He pleaded guilty and opted to face a judge for his punishment. All of this went against Caudill's advice. He wanted Andrew to have a jury trial and plead not guilty. By going to trial, maybe Andrew would only be convicted of second-degree murder, or at the very least, Caudill could pursue some constitutional challenges on appeal. At the post-conviction hearing, Caudill faced questions over whether he had done enough to present evidence of Andrew's sexual abuse, and why he hadn't called a mental health expert to the stand during the penalty phase. Caudill testified he feared the expert he had been considering would have done more harm than good. He decided at the last minute not to call him. Caudill acknowledged the challenge of trying to defend Andrew. "I don't think we ever got to the depths of Andrew Allred," he testified. "I don't think anybody ever will, unfortunately, because I think it would be a great help to him if somebody could." When Tiffany broke up with him publicly in a crowd of people at his 21st birthday, Andrew's mind turned to a conspiracy theory that night. Tiffany's friends had already started moving her stuff out of his parents' home. And so what was supposed to be one of the best nights of his life, as he described it, was the worst night of his life, Dr. Caddy testified. Not only did he believe that he lost Tiffany, but what he also lost was a self-esteem that he could muster with virtually all the people that he knew because he felt like such a fool. Dr. Caddy testified that Andrew became obsessive. First, he thought about utilizing his computer skills, but that required higher education. Andrew only had an associate's degree, which had put him in debt. Andrew wished he could reconcile with Tiffany. He was ranging between despair and hope, Dr. Caddy testified. A computer Andrew had bought for Tiffany as a present arrived, and when he took it over to her, she rejected the gift. Andrew lost control of his emotions and threw the computer. Then he hacked into her computer and read her emails, which made him think his best friend Michael was swooping in and having a relationship with Tiffany. By then, his emotions were just really unstable, Dr. Caddy testified. He started the fantasy, the notion of killing her, that she would die. They both were to die. Once he started ramming Tiffany's car, Andrew was triggered. He lost his connection to reality and rationality. Andrew's obsessive and irrational behavior set the stage for disassociation, Dr. Caddy said. He described Andrew's disassociation that night like how in the military when people experience the fog of war from the extreme stress and tension. Andrew couldn't remember who he shot first or how many times he fired his gun. He had asked the detective that night, "Are they all right?" even though he had fired all the rounds of his gun. Andrew's defense attorney, Julie Morley, asked Dr. Caddy if Andrew felt remorse for the two murders he committed. Yes, Dr. Caddy testified, but I think that remorse has been a relatively short duration. I think that for quite a long time he was locked into his delusion to justify his own behavior. He still hasn't emotionally fully connected to the essential hideousness of what he had done. While locked up, Andrew wrote letters to Tiffany's family. According to Mitchell Bishop from the Office of the Attorney General, some of them were mundane and talked about the food he's eating and the books he's reading while in jail. In two of them, Andrew tried to apologize. In others, he asked for photographs of the victims. But then, Bishop said, Andrew found out that Tiffany's family was pursuing some type of restraining order against him, so he wouldn't be able to contact them again. After this discovery, the tone of his letters changed and became angry. Andrew wrote he wanted Tiffany's family to be miserable for the rest of their lives. He wrote profane things to his own mother, too. In their closing arguments, Andrew's defense attorney, Mark Gruber, argued that it was whether or not there's a reasonable probability that a plea for mercy could have been presented to the court under some different circumstance. Like a mental health expert who was never called. Years down the road, Gruber said, "We disagree with it. We think a better job could have been done." Gruber reminded the courts what else could have been brought up in front of the initial judge. Andrew had behavior issues. He saw a school psychiatrist, had an ADHD diagnosis, and was allegedly sexually abused and had a traumatic childhood. This was an unhappy childhood. There were significant events, but as Mr. Caudle himself said, the way to bring it all together would have been through a mental health expert, Gruber said. Andrew appearing to have autism was also important, he said, and was never brought up by Andrew's defense. He pointed to Dr. Gefkin's testimony and said, Andrew exhibited an intense attachment to Tiffany, and Dr. Gefkin pointed out that that type of intense attachment is not uncommon of autistic children. He said that when the breakup occurred, Mr. Allred had no framework to deal with his own emotions, that he was at a loss as to how to react compared to others with proper social skills, and that he had simply the total lack of coping skills. Gruber also argued that Andrew's behavior afterwards wasn't what you might expect from a murderer. After he shot Tiffany and Michael, Andrew called 911. He confessed to police. Normally, a perpetrator in that situation is trying to do the job and get away with it without getting caught, Gruber pointed out. Mitchell Bishop presented closing arguments on behalf of the Attorney General's office. He said Timothy Caudle was not a deficient attorney. It's really easy to Monday morning quarterback this case, he said. Caudle was worried that Andrew could end up on death row, and he didn't want to make a bad situation worse. He was going to draw more attention to those facts, and he didn't want to do that, Bishop said. They did as much as they could possibly do despite some of the resistance that they had received, not the least of which is from the defendant himself. Bishop also argued that Andrew's alleged sexual abuse was all speculation, and he disputed Andrew's dissociative emotional state. He said Andrew acted deliberately and had a plan. He threatened Tiffany and Michael before he went to the duplex. He shot up a picture of Tiffany for target practice. And when Andrew headed to the duplex to ram Tiffany's car, he brought his gun with him. He said Andrew's death sentence was proper under the law. Circuit Court Judge Jessica Rexeidler agreed with him in her October 2013 hearing. And so Andrew remained on death row, his sentence unchanging. In the following years, Andrew's defense team continued to fight for his life. But in 2017, the Florida Supreme Court upheld a lower court's decision not to reconsider his sentence. Now, at the age of 35, Andrew remains on death row at Union Correctional Institution, about an hour outside Jacksonville, Florida. His execution date has not yet been set. Following Tiffany's and Michael's deaths, Florida lawmakers created a new law in 2008 that gave more protection to dating violence victims. It was protection Tiffany hadn't had when she and her friends were concerned about Andrew's threats and had contacted law enforcement without making any headway. The Barwick-Ruschak Act extends the same protections to victims of dating violence that victims of domestic violence had, according to media reports. The South Florida Sun-Sentinel reported in 2011 that those protections meant victims of dating violence could now file a criminal complaint with the state attorney or make a police report for an incident, regardless of whether or not an arrest is made. And the alleged perpetrator would also be held in custody until a first appearance in court. A huge change that, if enacted earlier, may have saved the lives of Tiffany Barwick and Michael Ruschak. And that's all for this episode. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this case. Let me know by joining the conversation on Instagram @CourtJunkie, by tweeting me @CourtJunkiePod, or by emailing me at podcast@courtjunkie.com. This episode was researched and written by Gabrielle Russon. If you'd like to hear these episodes without the ads and hear additional Court Junkie bonus episodes, check out my Patreon options at courtjunkie.com/support. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/courtjunkie. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.